So you may have recently spotted in a few videos that I have been using a new tool, a new technique within my work. And that tool, of course, I am talking about is this COLBOR handheld smoke machine. So I have never been a photographer who has played around with smoke machines, played around with atmosphere spray or anything of the sort really in terms of building texture into your work. And so when COLBOR reached out to me to ask me to test this product, I was really excited to see how I could get it to play into my work. So like I said, you might have spotted it in this video or maybe even in this video over on the channel already. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at some more photos that I've taken using this little machine and what I think about it, the good, the bad, the everything in between, I guess. So let's start with the actual experience of using the tool. As you can see, it comes in a cute little carry case, which is very handy because it comes with a lot of different components. This is the actual machine itself. It's pretty small. It comes with a little remote. This attachment, which is essentially like a torch slash fan, which I will kind of be coming on to in a bit. And also the actual fog machine, liquid and stuff you need to set it up. So the actual system is super easy. It basically is rotatable, so you can press down that button and rotate it. Very simple setup in terms of turning it on, turn on with the on button. Super useful, it tells you there the battery, which is just USB-C chargeable, which is even better. You know, I love a good USB-C chargeable product. And it tells you the level of the fan, the level of the kind of, what's it called? The fog, I guess, the fog level. You use this middle on and off button basically as your select tool, so you can select the fan and I can decrease or increase using the plus and minus buttons, as you can see here. I can put it on a timer, I can put it on like a continuous mode, which I will also be getting onto because that was very useful. And then to use the actual machine, you just basically press the little green button at the top like so. And you can see already what that does. I maybe shouldn't have done this at the beginning of the video because it's just going to be in the air now, but I mean, it was a good way of showing you. So like I mentioned, they do have this little fan slash torch, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. Essentially, to use that, you're just going to unscrew the top, just lifts off like that, replace it with this one, and then you can turn it on at the top. So when I do the fog, you can see there's a little torch here. I think the idea is that you get like a colored fog, but really this is not powerful enough for that to be the case. It doesn't, the light doesn't travel. You can see on my hand that it's got a very short wavelength. So I don't really see why you would need this. It's a cool idea, but realistically it doesn't work in terms of actually a shoot environment, especially when you have other lights, you know, they're just gonna cancel this light out straight away. So I genuinely really do think that this, let me take that bit off, is a super easy, super simple tool to use. My issue with this is in the pattern or the strength of the fog. And of course, it's a very small machine. I'm not expecting something from like an industrial standpoint, but this fog, it doesn't kind of like last very well. It kind of, you know, goes up into the atmosphere, disperses very quickly, which means that unless you have this on like a continuous mode, or unless you have someone holding this at the right angle, it's difficult to actually use it effectively within your photos. What I would say is lighting is everything. If you can position your lights in a way that kind of backlights and illuminates the fog, it does look a lot better. So we did this in this shoot with Gerard. I think the fog worked really well kind of as kind of like an atmosphere fog. And with these press shots recently that I shot with Kieran and Dom, again, I positioned a light from the back and used the smoke kind of in front of that light. And that was to make sure that I could see it, because I did do a shoot recently where I used this and I used a lot of it, and you literally just can't even see it in any of the photos. I'm going to put it up on screen. So the lighting is super important when you're using something like this, especially when it's something that doesn't stick about for that long. Where I did think it was really useful was in the shoot that I did with Maya in my car, because I was able to fill the car and obviously there wasn't really anywhere for it to go, and so it stayed in like a more concentrated environment. When you're using it in a really big room like a studio, it just disperses way too quickly for it to be an easy thing to control. So I think, you know, for a small lightweight tool to have in your bag, to throw in your lighting kit, it's a good one to have for studio stuff. I just think, you know, don't expect like Hollywood results with a tiny little machine like this. It's small and it's great for the size. Like when I worked on the shoot with Gerard, I thought that these shots came out really well. I really enjoyed using it. But if you're shooting just with yourself, you don't have a team, then although you can mount this onto a light stand and set it onto a constant mode, you might struggle a little bit in terms of control. So with Gerard, we had one person firing this and then another person using an actual fan, not the built-in fan, to direct the fog so that it looked right. If it's just you and one model on set, then maybe this isn't gonna work great because you're gonna end up running about like I did on this shoot, firing this thing everywhere and probably not doing it quick enough, not getting back to your camera quick enough to actually shoot with it. That being said, I think it's a really fun and easy way to add texture into your work. So if you are looking for something just to play around with and experiment on how you can add a different dimension to your work, then maybe this is something you might want to try out. But a big thank you to COLBOR for sending it to me to review. Of course, I'm going to put some photos on screen now of times where I really did enjoy it. I mean, you've seen the shoot, that is the only shoot that I used it where nothing came from it at all. But I'll put on screen now the ones that I think actually did work out quite well, and that's from the 3 other shoots that I've used this on so far. But I'm going to keep using this. You'll probably see it in future videos, and if so, I will kind of give you an update on how it's coming. You'll probably be able to see me learning a bit more about how to use it and hopefully improving my the art of using a fog machine, because honestly it really is an art. But I am not going to say much more. I'm going to let the photos do the speaking for me. Another big thank you to COLBOR for sending me this out, and thanks to you guys for watching.